To Claudia Derschmidt, Haram Kim, Pervando Ivan Putradanto, Mami Sato, and Runji Song, and to their families, we honor your lives and feel your loss deeply. I am very humbled to be with you and to speak today about the meaning of the World Community Garden, where we now gather near to in remembrance of our dear students and in support of every person injured in the Aurora Bridge accident. Monuments, gardens, and indeed art have the effect of concentrating the enormity of an emotional journey into a tangible space or thing. These 5 benches, which you can see out the window, representing the 5 students lost, and the globe which stands on 5 pillars, serve as a way to bring our empathy, our sorrow, and our yearning to know one another into a space where we can physically interact. A space we can return to, that we know will be there, constant and familiar as time widens our experience. The flowers planted around it will bud and bloom, and trees will shade the space to differing effect each season and each passing year, continuing to flourish, change, and grow. In the natural world, the term bench describes a narrow and relatively flat break in the continuous line of a geographic slope. So too, these granite benches invite us to pause, to take time from the hurried slope of the day, to rest and to remember. On each bench and at the base of the 5 central pillars supporting the globe, there are 5 lines. These lines, each with their own trajectory, influence each other, sometimes crossing, sometimes running parallel, and never ending. The lines are reminiscent of topographical lines, which we use to make sense of our world, to trace where we have been or where we want to go, and their shapes mimic the highs and lows of mountains, rivers, and valleys. The globe in the center will be installed within 2 weeks. The globe serves as a tool to orient ourselves and to envision the far reaches of our community, to remind us of that person we care so much for on the other side of the world. Physician and writer Paul Brand wrote that pain, along with its cousin, touch, is distributed universally on the body, providing a sort of boundary of self. And then author Rebecca Solnit continues, but empathy, solidarity, allegiance, these are the nerves that run out into the world and expand the self beyond its physical bounds. And so we invite all to feel at home in this space, to touch the lines, be present with the memory of others, and feel a collective sense of empathy expand in our world. It is our hope that the survivors of this accident be reminded that your lives continue to touch those around you. It is our humble hope that the World Community Garden can, in some small way, bring us together and honor the lives we have lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelda. We will now have 3 poetry readings. These poems were selected with care by English faculty member Steve Quigg. And Steve will be joined by student body president Sarah Michaelassi and North Seattle College staff member Tony Stankovic.
It's an honor for us to share these poems with you today. Living. This is a poem by Denise Levertov. The fire in leaf and grass, so green, it seems each summer the last summer. The wind blowing, the leaves shivering in the sun, each day the last day. The red salamander, so cold and so easy to catch, dreamily moves his delicate feet and long tail. I hold my hand open for him to go. Each minute, the last minute.
This poem is called The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, In fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I came into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with the forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
This is a poem by Mary Oliver called There Are a Lot of Mockingbirds in This Book. Yes, there are many of those wondrous creatures who live in the thorns and are musical all day. And the Lord knows when they sleep, for they sing in the dark as well, as they stare at the moon, as they flutter a little into the air, then back to the branch, back to the thorns. But this isn't nature in which such birds want, each pair, their own few acres. This isn't nature where the sweetest things are hidden in leaves and thorn-thick bushes, reveal themselves rarely. This is a book of the heart's rapture, of hearing and praising and never forgetting, so that the world is what the world is in a lifetime. Singer after singer bursts from the thorn bush, now and again, their songs in the mind forever.
Thank you, Steve, Sarah, and Tony. At this time, we'll have North Seattle College President Warren Brown share remarks, and after his remarks, he'll lead us into a moment of silence.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being here today. I'd like to first start off by recognizing the families around the world who've lost a loved one. They were and always will be a daughter, a sister, a son, a mother of two, and a spouse. Our college community, they will always be our precious students. To the families, while we share your grief, your pain must be unimaginable. No words we say today can erase or even lessen this pain. On this day and always, we hope and pray that you can feel the tremendous affection this campus has for you, the family, for Claudia, for Haram, for Parando, for Miami, for Runji. Today, we are filled with the sorrow that Claudia, Haram, Bravando, Miami, and Runji are not with us, but we're also filled with gratitude that they chose to attend North Seattle College. And we're grateful for the lives they lived, for the love that they shared, the hearts that they touched, and the lessons they have and continue to teach us. 1 year ago, they each traveled to Seattle, leaving behind family and friends for new experiences, a new country, and a new culture. And they did this bravely to advance their learning, to begin new adventures, and to make the future filled with limitless possibilities for their families and for themselves. They came to North Seattle College as students, but really they have taught us. They've taught us to live bravely and to live with intention. They quickly embraced their new city, and quickly they made friends. Though their time on our campus was short, their memories will always be imprinted in our hearts. I know that I've struggled to process this tragedy myself, just as others have also expressed to me. It's very difficult to cross the Aurora Bridge without thinking about what happened a year ago. On that day, we all experienced heartbreak, yet we also saw unlimited compassion and courage from our students and from the community. We saw the quick response of our first responders, some of whom are here today, and through their brave work that morning on the Aurora Bridge, they saved lives, and we thank you. We saw it in the medical professionals who worked countless hours and days to treat the comfort and the injured, and we thank you. We saw it in the local businesses that dropped everything and opened up their doors to the first responders, to the students, and to the college, and we thank you. And we saw it throughout our community, from elected officials that reached out to help, to people around the world that send hundreds of letters of support, and we thank them. And we also saw how our students and employees, even during this time of grief, they came together for our community vigil to remember those that passed and to honor the living. And we have seen that same courage from the survivors, including those that are with us today. And let's give them a round of applause too. We saw students, even while in care facilities, were driven to continue their studies and keep building relationships with their classmates and with the college. They were showing us that the best way to rise from this tragedy is a continued focus on achieving their dreams. It is my hope that this drive, this continual desire for learning and experiencing life, will continue and help not only the injured, but help us all. I hope that this stay in the garden will provide us some amount of healing, no matter how small that may be. And for any time that we hurt, may we come to this garden and reflect. May we meditate beneath the trees. May we feel the caress of the wind and the embrace of all those who care for us. We may speak different languages and come from places around the world that many of us have never been. Yet this tragedy shows us that we are all one. And the space will flourish as North Seattle College's World Community Garden. To symbolize how this tragedy has touched North Seattle College, the city of Seattle, and the world, to remember the lives of the 5 that we have lost, to send comfort to their families, to show continued care for all of those who survived, and to remember that every person has an interdependent connection around the world. With that, I ask if you can join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here today. This concludes this afternoon's program, but you're welcome to reflect in the World Community Garden and to share in community with each other. There are also refreshments behind you. On behalf of the college, thank you to everyone who has supported us, and please continue to support our students and employees. Thank you.